Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning, sir. I am Alea Dalopang Mahmud, and today I will be discussing about the sub-involution of the uterus. So the objective of this lecture is at the end of the class, the student will be able to define what is sub-involution of the uterus. They will be able to enumerate the causes and the aggravating factor of the sub-involution, and then they will be able to enlist the sign and symptoms, and they will be able to discuss the management specifically to medical management, surgical management, and of course the nursing management intervention. And they will be able to describe the preventive measure and prognosis of sub-involution. So now the overview of our lecture for today is we are going to tackle the definition, the causes, the aggravating factors, the signs and symptoms, the diagnosis, and of course the management. Specifically talk about the medical management, surgical management, of course nursing management, the complication and the prevention, and the prognosis, and of course the last but not the least, the summary of our lecture for today. So now let's start by defining what is sub-involution. When we say sub-involution, it is a medical condition in which after childbirth the uterus does not return to its normal size. So when the involution is impaired or retarded, it is called sub-involution. Sub-involution, from the word itself, sub-involution, the root word is involution. So when we say involution, it returns to its normal anatomical position. Bumababa siya ng bumababa, then after 24 hours, yung uterus is nasa level na siya ng symphysis pubis. Then after a few weeks, bumalik na siya sa normal size. But then, when we talk about sub-involution, hindi na siya, yung uterus, hindi na siya bumalik sa normal size after birth. So, yung sub-involution, it means that the uterus does not shrink or does not goes back to its normal size after giving birth. So, di ba, kagaya nga ng sabi ko, after delivery, yung uterus is bumabalik talaga siya sa its normal size. So, matatawag mo lang siya na sub-involution kapag yung uterus hindi na siya bumalik sa normal size niya after birth. These are the causes of sub-involution. One of the predisposing factor is grand multiparity. It means na yung mother, palagi na lang siyang nanganganak. Kaya they are prone to sub-involution. Next is over-distinction of uterus, as in twins and hydramnios, or di kaya maternal ill health or cesarean section si mother, kaya nagkaroon siya ng sub-involution. That is one of the causes. And then prolapse of the uterus. Further explain natin yan sa next slide. And then retroversion, and then uterine fibroids. So now, let's talk about the prolapse of uterus. So when we say prolapse of uterus, it happens siya kapag yung uterus natin bumaba siya sa vagina kasi yung muscles is too weak to hold the uterus. And then, nangyayari siya kasi nagkakaroon ng pressure sa pelvis, and then sumasakit din yung likod mo, and then feeling mo may something na lumalabas sa vagina mo. And then, let's move forward sa uterine fibroids. When you say uterine fibroid, that is a non-cancerous lump that grow in the muscles of the uterus. So they can cause heavy period, and then sumasakit din yung baba ng tiyan mo. And then these uterine fibroids, wala naman siyang asymptomatic siya, wala siyang symptoms at all. Next is the aggravating factor ng sub-involution. Yung aggravating factor ng sub-involution is uterine sepsis or o di kaya naman yung tinatawag natin na endometritis. When we say endometritis, that is inflammation in the endometrium. As you can see, there is a normal endometrium and wherein there is an inflammation of the endometrium. And then next one is the retained product of conception. Product of conception na dahil nga uminom ng mga conception si mother, medication conception, nare-retain siya doon sa loob ng uterus ng mother. Now, let's move forward to the signs and symptoms. Yung sub-involution of the uterus is sometimes asymptomatic siya. There is no symptoms at all. Pero kung meron man siyang symptoms, it is the abnormal luteal discharge, excessive or prolonged. Malaki yung bleeding na nawawala sa kanya, and then irregular at times, excessive uterine bleeding. So, irregular na nagkakaroon ng bleeding si mother, minsan malaki, minsan maliit. So, it is irregular. So, irregular cramps, like pain, nare-retain, sumasakit yung mga nagkakaroon siya ng cramp, and then may sumasakit sa loob ng katawan niya, and then tumataas din the rise of temperature in case of sepsis. Tumataas din yung temperature ng ni mother because of the sepsis. Now let's move forward to the signs na meron kang sub-involution of the uterus. So, paano ba natin masasabi na meron ka, ano ba yung mga signs na masasabi mo na meron kang sub-involution of the uterus? First one is the fundal height is greater than the postnatal days. So, it means yung fundal height, mas malaki pa rin yung tiyan mo kaysa doon na buntis ka pa. So, parang after birth, dapat bumalik na siya sa normal size. But then, pagkapanganak mo, is hindi na siya bumalik sa normal size niya. And then next one is displace of bladder and loaded rectum. And then the third word, uterus feels baggy and softer. Kasi 'di ba after birth, dapat yung uterus mo is wala ka nang nafi-feel na soft, hindi na siya malambot. Pero sa sub-involution of the uterus, may nafi-feel kang soft and baggy sa loob ng uterus, sa natatouch mo. So, it means that is one of the signs na meron kang sub-involution of the uterus after giving birth. So, let's move forward to diagnosis. Yung symptoms na meron kang sub-involution of the uterus, you will feel acute lower abdominal pain with bearing down sensation. So, sa baba ng abdomen mo, masakit siya. And then, one of the signs is bearing a degree of shock. And then, abdominal examination. May examine mo siya by cupping or dimpling of the fundal surfaces. Let's move forward to the complication of sub-involution of the uterus. One of the complication is shock. Nagkakaroon ka ng shock, and then hemorrhage, malaking blood yung nawawala sa'yo because of that sub-involution of the uterus. And then pulmonary embolism, and then uterine infection, of course, because of the inflammation of the uterine lining, kaya nagkakaroon sometimes ng infection, and then uterine scarring. Now, let's move forward to medical management. So, first is we will administer uterotonics. We will administer drug like oxytocin and methylargometrin or prostaglandins para ma-stimulate niya yung uterine contraction. Now, next is magbibigay din tayo ng antibiotic if there is an infection. Next is magbibigay din tayo ng iron supplement if there is a blood loss leading to anemia. Now, let's talk about the surgical management. Sa surgical management, kapag hindi na siya kinakaya ng medical management, we will move forward to the surgical management. So, first is dilation and curettage or D&C. So, it means i-remove natin yung na-retain na placental fragment. Kasi, one of the really causes na bakit ka nagkakaroon ng di ba? Kasi sinabi ko, rare lang naman na magkaroon ng afterbirth ng sub-involution of the uterus. So, kapag nagkaroon ka man ng sub-involution of the uterus, maybe the cause is may natirang fragment ng placental fragment sa loob ng tiyan ng mother na dapat natin i-remove. That is one of the common causes talaga kapag may nare-retain na placental fragment sa loob ng tiyan ni mother. So, yung dilation and curettage, gagamitin natin yan para ma-remove yung mga na-retain na placental fragments sa loob ng tiyan ni mother. So, as you can see, makikita mo dito sa images na yung steps kung paano tinatanggal or paano nila nire-remove yung placental fragments. Next is hysterectomy. Hysterectomy means reserved for severe cases with uncontrolled hemorrhage or infection and response to medical therapy. So, ginagamit natin yung hysterectomy kapag too much bleeding na in case hindi na natin makontrol yung blood na nawawala sa mother, kaya kailangan na nating siyang surgical using the procedure of hysterectomy. Now, the most important thing na work natin as a nurse. This is our nursing management intervention. So first, of course, we have to monitor the uterine fundus and the lochial discharge regularly. Kailangan nating i-monitor yung uterine fundus, yung uterine fundus, yung position, kung nagbabago ba yung uterine position or it goes back to its normal position. And then we have to also monitor the lochial bleeding or discharge, yung lumalabas kay mother, kung normal ba to, kung hindi, para alam natin yung next na gagawin natin. So next step or next intervention na gagawin natin, we have to encourage early ambulation to promote uterine involution. So next, we have to promote breastfeeding, which enhances natural oxytocin release. So kailangan kailangan ipadede natin yung bata kay mother para yung oxytocin is mag-release siya ng oxytocin. That is, yung oxytocin is gagamitin natin for contraction. And then next is, we will provide perineal care and teach proper hygiene to prevent infection. Because of course, si mother is prone siya sa infection. So, kailangan i-educate natin siya paano yung proper way ng perineal care, and then paano siya mag-hand hygiene para ma-prevent niya yung mga infection. Next is, of course, we will administer prescribed medication and monitor response. Yung medication na ipaprescribe natin, it should be prescribed by the doctor's order. Ibibigay lang natin siya if it's a doctor's order. And then, for example, magbibigay tayo ng oxytocin, and then next is, we will educate the mother on danger sign as foul smelling, leukemia, increased bleeding, and fever. And then lastly but not the least, of course, as a nurse, it is our duty, or it is one of our job talaga na we ensure emotional support and counseling si mother. Now, additional information about the sub-involution of the uterus. This is the way para ma-prevent natin yung sub-involution of the uterus. So, the prevention, do not employ any method to expel the placenta out when the uterus is relaxed. So, wag nating basta-basta hinihila or biglain natanggalin yung placenta sa mother, kasi that's one of the causes kaya may nare-retain or may natitira pang mga placental fragment sa loob ng tiyan ni mother kasi binigla natin. So, hindi na buo yung placenta. So, it should be, kapag relax yung uterus, hindi natin siya ihilayin. We need to do it in a way, in a proper way. And then next is, ambulation of umbilical cord is, kailangan i-avoid natin yung ambulation of the umbilical cord. And then last, manual removal is to be done in a proper way. So again, dapat alam natin yung proper way ng pagtanggal ng placenta in a proper way talaga para ma-avoid natin yung ganitong sakit na sub-involution of the uterus. So in conclusion, yung sub-involution, that is the incomplete return of uterus to its pre-pregnant size and shape. So again, yung sub-involution talaga, yan yung hindi na siya, yung uterus, hindi na siya bumabalik sa normal size niya after niyang manganak. And then, with sub-involution, at 4 to 6 week postpartal visit, the uterus is there enlarged and soft. So, masasabi natin siya na sub-involution of the uterus talaga after 4 to 6 weeks kapag post-natal partal visit siya na malaki pa rin yung tiyan niya. And then, may soft pa rin na feel. And then, next is oxytocin. So, oxytocin is often prescribed to enhance the involution process. That's all. Thank you. I hope you understand something from my lecture. Thank you very much.